very good evening. Welcome to our meeting tonight. I'm gonna sing a couple of songs, preparing our environment, our mind, our soul for the teachings, the gospel according to Spiritism tonight. So, song to Mother Zephyrina. Source of love that radiates, warming up our cold nights, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flow down the mountain, calling the children of earth with love in their hearts, with love in their hearts. My soul never loses hope, 'cause yours teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. Oh, my mother Zephyrina, harvest of wonderful blessings, make you small son a good Christian, make you small son a good Christian. Vibrate. When life lends a hand, it's time to open up your heart. It is time to love one another. It's time to take part. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into songs. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. Vibrate always, loving and serving everyone. When we give our heart in charity, our lives are transforming into song. Our dreams become reality. And we join Jesus for eternity.
Come on, my friend. Speak peace and love and spread it to the world. Good vibes, laughter and shout outs. Show it to the world. Always follow the footsteps of our Lord. All roads that I shall walk on. Sowing seeds of peace. This light that keep us shining. We'll be bright and brighter. We'll be bright and brighter. We'll be bright and brighter.
Sing this song along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learning to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So love and peace in the world. Conquer us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace. Sing this song along with me. Just open up your hearts. Feel harmony and peace inside yourself. Life is a great school, teaching always to do good. Learning that in order to be happy, we need to help. Learning to accept that everyone deserves respect. Uniting all their hearts with a gesture of affection. Finding our happiness will be spreading joy. There is no other way. Charity is the solution. Only one love, only one ideal. So in love and peace in the world. Conquer us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace. Only one love, only love ideal. So in love and peace in the world. Conquer us. Feel the life within ourselves, and love will certainly appear. And the world will be in peace.
Source of love that radiates, warming up our cold night, support and comfort, support and comfort, cascades flow down the mountain. the children of earth with love in their heart, with love in their heart. My soul never loses hope, because your love always teaches me the solution lies in hard work. The solution lies in hard work. For my mother's offering, a harvest of wonderful blessings. Make you, small son, a good Christian. Make you, small son, a good Christian.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Welcome to our public meeting. We thank everyone for joining us tonight. Before we start, we would like to share a couple of announcements. We would like to ask, would ask you to turn off your phone notifications and find a quiet place during this time if possible. Our meeting will have a 30 minutes presentation followed by Q&A. Then, after the presentation, we will have a spiritual treatment with passes and magnetized water. So we invite you to set aside a container with water to be magnetized. We would like to announce that our public meeting is being retransmitted today by Continental Conference Americas through their Facebook and will also be retransmitted every Wednesday at 8 p.m. East by Kardec Radio through their Facebook and YouTube. For those who want to learn more about Spiritism, Get to Know to Spiritism is a free and online course that happens every Saturday at 5:15 p.m. East. New class will start soon on fall, so more information will be given soon, so stay tuned. We offer virtual living gospel at home. Did you know that? So the gospel at home is an effective support for you and your family's spiritual harmony. We will motivate and guide you in establishing and maintaining the gospel at home study meetings. By posting in the chat, you can request it. Please let us know. You are welcome to include your or someone else's names on the list of positive vibrations for incarnate or discarnate. The person you indicate will be assisted by good spirits to provide healing, energy, and strength, goodwill. Please find the link in our chat. The topic of today's meeting is not all those who say, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven. From chapter 18, many are called, but few are chosen. Items 6 to 9, which will be facilitated by our sister Larissa from London, Ontario. Everyone is welcome to write comments and questions in the chat, and we will address the questions at the end of the talk. And now we invite our tonight's speaker that will also do our opening prayer as well. So welcome, Larissa.
Good evening, Marcel.
Good
Thank you
evening.
for having me today.
Thank you for coming. How are you today?
I'm doing well. I'm very excited for this topic today. I learned a lot while I was studying, so I hope right? That we can bring some reflections today.
That's great. So I'll see you soon, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's start with our opening prayer. I invite everyone to join me in this prayer. So let's close our eyes if you feel comfortable in doing so. Let's calm our hearts and elevate our thoughts to the image of our Master Jesus. Master Jesus, we would like to thank you for this opportunity to be here one more night, open to your teachings, open to reflect about this good topic that you left for us. We ask your protection, we ask your permission to start the talk tonight. We also ask your blessings that everyone, either if it's today or other day in the week, in the future, whoever will watch this talk, may then be able to learn something from it. May they be able to learn your teachings and be open to put into practice in their daily lives. May all the good spirits be with us, inspire me to be the instrument of this talk today. We also ask that you be with us during our journey, help us to grow in our spiritual life. And we also would like to thank for this opportunity once more to be here reunited with everyone that is watching with us tonight. Thank you, and so be it. Okay, so just give me one moment. I'm going to share my screen. Okay. So as Marcel, it's not working, just a moment. I think I will need some help from the background. Wait, let me try again. Oh, share screen. Okay, here it is. Okay, sorry guys, just a technical issue, but now should be good. So as Marcel have mentioned, today's topic is not all those who say Lord, Lord will enter the kingdom of heaven. And this is under chapter 18. Many are called, but few are chosen. And this is item 6 to 9. So we will start the talk today with 3 passages from the gospel. So these 3 passages are the openings for these items, and will kind of give us a summary of what kind of lessons we are going to be learning today. Okay, so the first passage is in the Gospel of Matthew, chapter 7, verse 21 to 23. So let's read together. Not everyone who says to me, Lord, Lord, will enter the kingdom of heaven, but only the one who does the will of my Father who is in heaven. Many will say to me on that day, Lord, Lord, did we not prophesy in your name, and in your name drive out demons, and in your name perform many miracles? Then I will tell them plainly, I never knew you. Away from me, you evildoers. So this is a very well-known passage from the gospel, and at first we might be confused by it, because it may look like that those who are working in Jesus' name, those who are doing the work, let's say, are not being recognized by it, by their actions. And we clearly see here that in Jesus talking, like we clearly see that there is a difference between those who are calling Jesus as the Lord. And we will see further in the study what exactly Jesus is trying to teach us about that. Another important point to highlight in this message is the importance of doing God's will. But in order to do God's will, we also need to understand what exactly God is expecting from us, right? So how we are going to know that we are actually doing His will if we don't know what is being expected. So the gospel is inviting us today to look at our own lives and reflect on our actions, what exactly we are doing and how we are doing it. So the second passage of the gospel that will serve as a base is the continuation in the same book. So it's Matthew chapter 7, and it's from verse 24 to 27. So let's read together. It says, "Therefore, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against the house. Yet it did not fall, because it had its foundation on the rock. But everyone who hears these words of mine and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who built his house on sand. The rain came down, the streams rose, and the winds blew and beat against that house, and it fell with a great crash." So we can see the house that Jesus is mentioning here as our own lives, our spiritual journey. So even for those like me that I don't understand anything about constructions, but even for us that are kind of out of this field, we know that a house needs to be built from the bottom to the top, right? We won't start a house from the roof. We need to start the house with the foundation. And how important is the foundation of a house, right? So that being said, Jesus is saying here to us that we have the choice between the rock as a foundation or the sand, right? And Jesus is telling us that if we put into practice his teachings, we will be building our house on the rock. So it's a solid foundation. The foundation will be solid in a point where no matter what difficulties we might face, right? No matter the struggles, no matter any trouble that we might have in this life, from past lives or this current life. And here the analogy is with the winds and the rain. We will not fall because the foundation was built to last. But now those who hear these teachings, he's saying, and does not put into practice, then their foundation will be like the sand. In the sand, we all know it's not a solid base. It moves, it can get different shapes depending on what is going against it. So it means that when the difficulties and the struggles come, that house will fall or will not stand strong, right? Because of the foundation is not solid. So this is just some reflections for us to start our study. In the last passage of the gospel, the third passage comes from Matthew chapter 5 and verse 19. So it's right after the Sermon of the Mount, sorry. And Jesus says, therefore, anyone who sets aside one of the least of these commands and teaches others accordingly will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whoever practices and teaches these commands will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. So just one versicle, but clarifies a little bit to us that we are responsible to apply the teachings in our lives. Not only this, but we are also responsible for what we are influencing others, right? We cannot be responsible for the actions of others, but we are responsible for what we are causing to others with our own actions. So, like Jesus is saying here, if we are not keeping the commands, if we are maybe influencing others to not keeping it, or maybe we are not helping others to go through the struggles in a good way, we are contributing to the struggles, maybe, right? So this means that we are not actually putting into practice. We are not actually being the ones that will be called great, right? Now, what Jesus is saying here, that if we follow and if we teach it, if whenever we are acting in the right way, righteous, right? This will help to our own progress, but also to the progress of the ones who are surrounding us. So these three passages, like I said, kind of gives us a base for our studies of tonight. And those three are very important to us to bring us some knowledge on what are being expected in terms of actions from us. So now we are going to enter on Kardec's notes, right, about this passage. And he starts the notes asking us, all who recognize the mission of Jesus say, Lord, Lord, but of what use it is to call Master or Lord when you do not follow his precepts. So, like we were saying, words alone does not make any changes. So the transformation, and Spiritism brings this clarification to us, right? The transformation needs to come from within, from ourselves, internally, and then with actions, right? We need to be constantly trying to better ourselves in order for us to progress spiritually in this life, in this experience, because we know we are immortal spirits, we know we are here incarnated, so we can learn and we can develop, and up to a point where we won't need this material experience anymore, right? So if we learn these teachings, but we are not following it, but we are not trying to put into practice daily, then what Kardec is saying here, based on the gospel, right, is that we are not being true disciples. We are not being true to what is being asked to us. And he continues to questioning, are they Christians then who honor him with exterior acts of devotion while at the same time making sacrifice to pride, selfishness, greed, and all the passions? Are they then his disciples, those who pass their days in prayer, yet show themselves no better, nor more charitable, nor more indulgent towards their fellow beings? So, what do you think? Does this looks like something familiar, I would say? Because we know that we are imperfect spirits, right? We are here, we are trying, even though we might be every day trying to put the teachings into practice, we know that we still make mistakes. And what Kardec is questioning here is, does it work to be doing things, right? Exterior acts, but in our inner mind, we are still being selfish, or we are doing maybe acts of charity, but just to fulfill our own pride, our own vanity, right? So also in terms of the prayer, right? Is the prayer actually being done with sentiment, with feelings, actually being concentrating the moment? So those are things that Kardec is bringing to us, those points where we need to really think about it. If in our daily lives, in our spiritual daily life, we are actually doing with intention. So the answer from Kardec's notes is no, right? So for those two questions is no. Seeing that as the Pharisees, so he's comparing this as the Pharisees that we know from the time of Jesus, right? They used to be the people of the law, right? The spiritual law of that time, which they would be in the exterior, they would be doing all these prayers, they would be doing all these actions, and having the power even, right, for the laws or for the knowledge of the spiritual laws of that time. However, like Kardec says here, they have prayer on their lips, but not in their hearts. And he continues saying that they can impress men with their manner, but not God. So Kardec is comparing us to the Pharisees, those who have prayer on their lips, but not in their hearts. And like I was saying, we are incarnated spirits, right? And when we are incarnated, we can definitely kind of camouflage our intentions, our true colors, but we cannot do that in the spiritual world, right? We cannot fake this to God. God knows exactly what we are thinking, what we are feeling, right? So if we are saying good things, but that's not what it's in our hearts, God will know. We will know, and God will know too, right? So maybe the people that are receiving those words, they will not feel it, but in the end, what matters most is the intention, why you are doing that, right? So God will not be impressed by our wrongdoings. And we know that we have heard from the spirits that most of us, when we discarnate, we feel shame. Most of the time, we will feel shame. We will feel that we waste so many opportunities, because it's really easy when we are incarnated to be distracted with worldly things. We have our vices, right? Like I said, we are still in progress. We are a work in progress. So it's really easy to make mistakes. But the good thing is that every day we have an opportunity more here. We are being called, like the name of the chapter, right? We are being called to do good, to put into practice. And if we did maybe a mistake, we are able most of the times to go back and try to repair in this existence, right? We don't need to wait for the next life for it. So Kardec continues saying to us that in vain they can say to Jesus, Lord, do we not prophesy or teach in your name? Do we not expel demons in your name? Do we not eat and drink with you? So exterior acts towards the good needs to be done with intention. If not, it's going to be in vain. As per the Spirit Emmanuel in one of his novels, the gospel needs to be, he says that the gospel needs to be acknowledged, meditated, felt, and then lived, right? So there are 4 spheres for us to really be able to say that we are putting into practice all those teachings. So learning about it or having the knowledge about it is not enough. We also need to be constantly meditating about it. So maybe doing a gospel at home during the week where you will be able to at least sit for 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour to maybe meditate about a passage. And then following by that, we need to feel that in our hearts. We need to be in a situation where maybe with the knowledge and with the meditation, that will make us feel what is the what is the actions that we need to do. And then, of course, believe that, right? Whenever we have the opportunity to put into practice, actually be ready to practice. So if we just speak about spirituality without living, it will be like we are building our house in the sand. So we think that we are building something that will last, but when the struggles come, we will discover that that foundation was not enough. And that's why we need to be constantly reminding ourselves, and even like Spiritism bring us this knowledge of the self-enlightenment, right? So we need to be creating in our routine a time where we can actually be mindful and learn this knowledge in a more deeper way, right? If not, like Kardec is saying, it's going to be in vain. We, as spiritists, we might go to Jesus and say, oh Lord, don't we participate in mediumistic meeting? Don't we participate in the spiritist talks, right? Don't we do the gospel every single week? But if that is not making us actually change ourselves, if we don't allow that to be really rooted in our hearts, it was going to be in vain. So he continues saying that the answer from Jesus, right, from the passage, he will reply to them, I know not who you are. Go away from me, you who commit iniquity, you who deny by your acts what you say with your lips, who slander your neighbor, who rob widows and commit adultery. Go away from me, you whose hearts distill hate and bile, who spill the blood of your brothers and sisters in my name, who cause tears to flow instead of drying them. So we need to remember that a lot of times it's easy for us to see others and think that they need to change, right? that maybe they are the ones doing wrong things, or that they should be acting differently. Maybe we will say, oh, maybe I should share this talk with someone that I know because they need to listen to that, right? But it's actually the contrary. We should be reading this and actually putting into our own shoulders, right? We may be the one that is causing the tears instead of drying them. So just to think about it, in the scale of self-enlightenment and the practice of the law of love and charity, where are we? Right? Are we asking ourselves those questions enough? Are we the ones who is praying with the lips but not with the heart? How much we are focusing our time, our life on being a good example of Christians for people that are surrounding us. And we know, like we were saying, right, that we are still in progress and we will make mistakes. We cannot think that we will go through a whole existence, a whole life without making any mistakes. But the thing is, we need to be constantly checking with ourselves to be sure that we are in the right path. And if we are not, we still have time to create another route, right? If you are listening to this message today, maybe this is a good time for you and a good insight, right? For you to think about it, the opportunities that you still have to do good and to create those routines and those times in your life for you to think about it, this knowledge, and how you are going to put it into practice. Who is near you that you could assist more, maybe, right? So these are all good reflections for us to have today about this topic. So Kardec continues saying that for those who he was describing, there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth, seeing that God's kingdom is for those who are gentle, humble, and charitable. So once more, the message is bringing to us the importance of being true to our intentions, and that these will not bend God's justice. So Kardec continues saying, do not expect to bend God's justice by the multiplicity of your words, nor the amount of your kneeling. So it doesn't matter how, if you pray, like 24/7, doesn't matter how much you are kneeling and kind of like apparently being obedient, right? If that is not coming from a true feeling, from a true sentiment, this is not going to be what God is expecting from us, right? So just to reinforce is that God's kingdom is for those who are gentle, humble, and charitable. So like I was saying in the beginning, what is the God's will, right? How we are going to know if we are doing God's will? Are we being gentle? Are we being humble? Are we being charitable? So actions needs to be paired with good feelings and good intentions. no matter where we are. So the only pathway which is open, wherein you may find grace in his sight. So how are we going to be doing God's will? And Kardec saying here is by the sincere practice of the law of love and charity. Now, what is the true meaning of charity as per Jesus' teachings? So I'm bringing here question 886 from the Spirits book, where Kardec asks the spirits, what is the true meaning of the word charity as used by Jesus? And the Spirit says to us, it's benevolence for everyone, indulgence towards the imperfection of others, and forgiveness of offenses. So it sounds so simple, right? It's not like a huge like essay of things that we need to do, right? It's just 3 things that are included on how can we be charitable to others. So love and charity complement the law of justice, since loving your neighbor is to do them all the good in our power, all that we would wish to have done to ourselves. This is the meaning behind Jesus' words. You shall love your neighbor as yourself. So knowing that, and knowing that this is what it's expecting from us, right? So this is what will make us be the great, like in the passage, right? Kardec continues saying that the words of Jesus are eternal because they are the truth. They constitute not only a safe conduct to celestial life, but also a pledge of peace, of tranquility, and the stability of earthly things. So even after 2,000 years, we are still learning and we are still trying to put these teachings into practice, but they didn't change, right? So like Kardec is saying here to us, Jesus' teachings are universal and are eternal because it comes from universal laws that we know that if we follow, we will be having a foundation on the rock. We will be having struggles, afflictions in our lives, but these will bring peace, tranquility, and stability for us to deal and handle whatever problem that we might have, we might face. Now here, Kardec also mentioned to us about institutions. So let's read together. This is why all institutions, be they human, political, social, or religious, that rely on these words will always remain steadfast as the house built upon rock. Humanity will retain them because they will find happiness in them. So it's very interesting here, and we are almost in the end of our talk, in the end of the message, but it's really interesting that these teachings, they are not only religious, right? When Kardec is saying, he's mentioning about institutions that rely on these words, it's not saying that it's only religious institutions. And that means that any type of human institution would beneficiate to rely on these words because they are eternal and they have a safe conduct on how to basically how to deal with our worldly troubles, right? So it means that we don't need to be only in a religious context to be spreading the word of the teachings that we are learning here. We will be, if we are putting into practice in our daily lives, we can be at work, we can be at, I don't know, maybe in a club that you with your family. You can be camping, you can be in a multitude of places, and your actions or the way that you are living will be kind of disseminating these important teachings in this important way that we should be living our lives. So it has the values and the principles that will ended up making the difference on how we deal with, especially with struggles, right? So whenever we are thinking about these teachings, it's really common for us to think, okay, if we are happy, if we are having, our best time, like it's easy to put into practice, right? But then, in my point of view, and as imperfect spirit, that is really the time where we need those, is where we are struggling, right? Is where maybe we are being offended by someone, or we feel offended, right? So then we need to practice forgiveness. We need to really we are kind of like invited to put into practice. So I like Marcel, our friend, she always say, right? If we want to practice patience, we won't receive people that are patient around us, right? We will receive people that will kind of invites us to practice patience. So it's kind of the same example. But in this case, we are saying here that all institutions on earth would be beneficiated to rely on these words because they are eternal. And Kardec finishes the message saying that those ones who actually violate those words or do not put into practice those teachings, they will be as the house built upon sand, which the wind of renewal and the river of progress will sweep away. So they will be considered as the builders that built the house on sand. We know that we are now in a transition, right, to from a word of proof and expiations to a word of regeneration. So what he's saying here is that those institutions that are not complying with those teachings, with those words, with those values and principles, the world will regenerate with itself. And as the humanity progress, as the world progress, those type of institutions, they will not have space anymore, right? So they will end up disappearing. So that's a good thing for us, because sometimes we can see the news, we can see, how the world is today, and we might be worried with things that are in our point of view, like it's not in control, right? But we know that Jesus, as the governor of earth and being the emissary of God, he is in control. And we know that everything, it has a plan, everything has a purpose. So it's good to know that as everything in the universe has to abide with the law of progress. So those who are violating those teachings, are violating those principles, they will also be swept away, as Kardec is bringing to us. And just to end our talk of today, I just would like to remember the name of the chapter that we are, right? Many are called, but few are chosen. So I just would like to finish our talk remembering that we are being called every single day to put these teachings and to be a true disciple. So it's up to us to choose if we want to build our life, our spiritual journey in the rock or in the sand. So I hope this talk today brought to you some reflections. It definitely brought to me a lot of reflections during my studies. And I'm here. Thank you for your time. I'm here for the questions or comments if you have.
I will try to unmute. Thank you so much, Larissa, for your presentation. It was great.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
lots of lessons, teachings. Thank you so much for your reflections. We do have a couple of questions.
Okay, no problem.
The first one is from Rod. What factors or qualities, as understood in Spiritism teachings, determine the genuine entry into the kingdom of heaven for individuals who profess faith extending beyond mere verbal declaration? And thank you for the talk today.
Okay, so thank you, Rod, for the questions. So as we were talking today, definitely charity. We know that love and charity is the law, right? That we need to be following. But Kardec points to us that that we will only enter the kingdom of heaven as if we are humble, if we are charitable, right? If we are doing good towards our neighbor. So it's mainly just putting to practice the commandments that Jesus left us, right?
Yeah,
Which sounds like simple, but in the reality, it's so hard, right?
it's simple to say, right?
Yeah. So,
It's
but yeah, so like he was saying, right? It's just not saying with our lips, but actually feeling it, actually meditating about it, and having the kind of like creating the opportunities or identifying the opportunities for us to practice that and develop that.
Mhm. Okay, thank you. We have another one from our friend Publio. Is there any visible tag to recognize the truly Christians? It means the real Christians belong to this or that religion. Wow.
That's a good question. Thank you,
Yeah.
Publio. So if there is any visible tag, oh, I wish. I wish. So, well, the visible tag would be the actions, right? So, like we were saying the question before, right? We need to be not only saying or not the exterior acts. We won't be able to really know if the person is a good Christian, a truly Christian or not, right? But it's I feel that most of the times it's going to be an account from us to God. It doesn't matter much if the other is being a true Christian, right? But it matters if are we doing our work? Are we being true Christian, right?
Yeah. I
What is the
remember
second
what,
question? I
yeah,
don't
no,
remember
you
anymore.
remember Last Sunday we were talking about like the prophets, right? And
Mhm.
I saw I said something that it's very similar to the things that you just said. It's being the living letters of Jesus, right? Our
That's it.
actions.
Yes.
Mhm.
So we shouldn't be really um, kind of trying to see, oh, is the other a good Christian? Is that person that is beside me a good Christian? Right? We should
Mhm.
be pointing to us, to ourselves. Are we being the living letters, right? Like you were saying, right? Are we being doing like whatever is possible with the resources that we have, with the knowledge that we have? Are we being those true Christians and those true disciples?
Mhm.
So that's but it's a good question. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for your answers, for your talk. It was really great. Thank you so
Thank you,
much.
Marcel.
So we will now move to the preparation for tonight's spiritual treatment. PAS is the transfusion of spiritual energy with the goal of assisting with our physical, emotional, and mental balance. PASes help us to restore a state of harmony and peace by replacing negative energy with healthy and positive energy. In order to receive the best benefits from passes, please follow the audio instructions or remain in prayer. You may close your eyes to help with mentalization. During the pass, the water you set aside will also absorb the spiritual energy that your family and you can benefit from. So now we will make our prayer in preparation for the pass, which will be our closing prayer as well. So I invite everyone to close our eyes if you wish. Elevate our thoughts. Thank you, Lord. We would like to thank you for the opportunity to be here one more Tuesday in order to learn more about your teachings. We thank you for this blessed night and for all of the lessons we had tonight. Thank you for our lives, our health, our family, and our friends. May your love reach all the humanity so we can practice your commandment to love our neighbor as ourselves. We ask your mercy for our sins and we ask for the good Spirit's inspiration so we can do the right thing and we can become a better person. Once again, we thank you for everything you have done for us, and we ask you to stay with us today and always. So be it.
Let us now prepare ourselves for the moment of the passes and the magnetization of water. Let's now calm our hearts, breathing in and out. Pay attention to your body. Focus on your breath and let yourself be carried by this energy. Let your thoughts pass by without judging them. Let them flow. Allow this light to be the beacon that guides you, and allow these words to penetrate your energy. Make each word an anchor of gratitude, faith, and trust. With the purpose of healing, which takes away my faith, healing every feeling of separation, of pain, let it all dissolve in this moment, leaving only love, gratitude, and trust. We ask God for the presence of our guardian angel and the friendly spirits who welcome us into this enlightened environment of our spiritual center. We open our plexus of love and forgiveness by mentalizing a light surrounding our hearts. Find a quiet and comfortable place to begin the mentalization process. Remove all worries from your thoughts. We ask that during the pass you breathe slowly and deeply. Let your body relax and surrender yourself to a deep meditation. Calmly imagine divine energies in soft and colorful light surrounding you in an environment of peace and spiritual warmth. Entrusting God with your most intimate desires, raise your thoughts to Jesus and the emissaries of the spiritual environment. The past begins with the cleansing of your soul. Imagine a waterfall of crystal clear water pouring over us, removing all the feelings that keep you away from faith and trust. Feel the energy of this water bathing you and deeply breathe in, feeling peace and harmony. Allow this water to wash away all the impurities and spiritual larvae, washing away all the sorrows and resentments, any feelings of hatred and revenge that hold us back and cause us harm, not only from this life, but past ones as well. Now visualize spiritual doctors around you, applying magnetic cleansing passes, sanitizing your spiritual body of all sadness and negative energy. Mentalize these negative thoughts and feelings being washed away, evaporating from your soul, like water evaporating into thin air, and being carried far away from your mind. Surround yourself with the faith that bathes your being, bringing clarity and lucidity, rebalancing every cell in your body. May the water envelop all pain and bring the clarity of opportunity that chooses peace. The answer arises in our hearts, freeing us from all evil and freeing all whom we have caused evil into and who have caused us evil. Washing away all the connections that bind us. Even though we may not understand, we are freeing ourselves from all that causes us harm. Feel this cleansing penetrate your soul and release. Now that we are spiritually cleansed, imagine yourself surrounded by the light of love from the hands of Jesus. At this moment, sing words of faith and gratitude, being faithful to the light that exists in me, planted by the zealous Father. Imagine the sunlight that surrounds and enraptures, freeing us from the chains of everything that holds us down, strengthening your faith. Allow yourself to trust in this light, surrender to it, involved in pleasant feelings and feeling relieved to receive the strengthening lights. Mentalize your spiritual mentors now applying divine light for the strengthening of your mind and your emotions, leaving you feeling emotionally revitalized. Let us now mentalize the magnetization of this water. May we mentalize all the friendly spirits, magnetizing this water and filling it with everything that our bodies, minds, and soul need, so that it may be of help to us when we drink it after the Pasch. Thank you, God.
Thank you for joining us tonight. We will be back next Tuesday here on Spiritism Canada and Continental Conference Americas at 8:30 p.m. East, and next Wednesday on Kardec Radio at 8 p.m. East. And don't forget to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube from the Spiritism Canada and Spiritism Group Path of the Light. Have a good night.
glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. You will see that behind every sight there's a flame shining bright, tiny spark created by God. I will follow your path, Father. Nobody is alone in life, and the scars of my destiny will be healed by your love. Disseminate wherever you are, glowing seeds of love, as our Master Jesus taught. As our Master Jesus taught.